Hey guys, my name is Bailey Moss, and I'm an account manager here with mscrmaddons.com. I've been with MSCRM Add-ons for going on 4 years, and my primary responsibilities are around sales, so that's licensing, proof of concept, training, and even sometimes product support. But yeah, so today we'll be talking about document generation and delivery via Powerapps and Flow, primarily around the leveraging of DocumentsCorePack. So a quick agenda, I'll start with an about us as a company, then I'll go to a high-level overview of DocumentsCorePack, kind of how it works, the main factors around it, and then yeah, in the slideshows, should be quick, and go straight into a demo of 3 what I believe to be real-world use case scenarios. At the end of this session, we'll also have around a 5-minute Q&A, so if you have any questions, save them for that Q&A. Additionally, if you have any additional questions after this session, you can reach out to us on our website via phone, email, or chat. But yeah, so a little bit about us. We were founded in 1998, and we've been doing primarily, back then, Microsoft CRM add-ons since 2005. We've got an office in Austria as well as the US, where I'm based out of in Atlanta, Georgia. We're a Microsoft Gold partner, and we've got 7 solutions for Dynamics 365 and Powerapps, but today I'll focus on one, which is DocumentsCorePack. But yeah, so a little bit about DocumentsCorePack. It's really made up of 3 core elements, starting with design. So that's going to be our template designer, which is included with the license. So this is a local Word add-in, so all your templates are going to be built in Word, and it brings in all of that metadata from CRM or your Dataverse instance in terms of fields, relationships. So you can bring in those fields into a Word document as well as dynamic tables, dynamic images from SharePoint, QR codes, which I'll show in just a little bit, as well as much more. The next element is going to be the generation or processing. So along with the template designer, you need a service, which with our subscription licenses we host. So that's going to be, you generate the document, it gets sent to this service, and you can set it up to automatically email, send through an e-signature provider such as Adobe Sign, DocuSign, or SureSign. You can set it up to save to SharePoint automatically, print, create an activity, and several other items as well. So if you have a use case, please reach out to us, because there's a good chance that we've already seen it or already have something set up for it. The next element would be automation. So this is going to be through Microsoft Flow using our Flow connectors, or Dynamics Workflow using our Flow workflow actions. And this is all encompassed in the Microsoft Dataverse. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the slideshow. So I'll go ahead and get into the demo, or the first scenario, which is going to be a Conference Signup App. So when I was coming up with or trying to figure out ideas to show, I thought, given that this is DynamicsCon, and it's been quite a while since I've been to a physical conference, I'd like to imagine what first walking into DynamicsCon would be, which would have to be the registration table. So first, like most requirements that I see, we start out with a document. So in this case, it's going to be the registration name cards. So this is our template designer in Word. And this is what we call a label template, because it's infinitely repeating depending on how many records are selected or defined. In this case, I'm just bringing in the full name field from the contact, the account name, and also a dynamic QR code. So this is actually going to be the GUID of that contact record. So now that I've got my template, it's saved back to Dynamics to be used. Now I'll go ahead and go into the Canvas apps itself. So if I go here and open up my conference signing app, which I've done in DynamicsCon theme, lots of purple, including the Powerapps. So instead of new attendee, I'll go to already registered. And this would just be your end user case. And I'll go ahead and search for me, Bailey Moss. And then, so say I'm an end user, I'm making sure these details are correct. You can update them. And this is where DocumentsCorePack comes in. So when you hit print name and card pass, as soon as I hit that, what it's doing is kicking off instant cloud flow through Power Automate, and using our DocumentsCorePack connector to take that template, generate it, and print the name cards via the service. So our service can connect to 3 cloud print providers, which is going to be Microsoft Universal Print, Printix, and PrintNode. In this case, I'm using PrintNode. But as I've been talking, you can see it already got a response. So your name card is ready. Check printer. So if you actually hear in the background, that is my printer running. But instead of going to get that sheet of paper, I'll just show you a test that I ran earlier. So as you can see, it's printed my name, a company name, and set that QR code dynamically. But yeah, so that's a single record in this case. But we also support with these label templates is multiple records. So a single document, multiple records. So if I were to go back and go to, say, I want to register for a sponsor and get all of my attendees passes at once, I'll go to sponsor, a datum. There's all my attendees and print sponsor passes. So same thing in the background. This is initiating a instant cloud flow. DocumentsCorePack is generating that document from the template that you created and sending it to the printer. To give you an idea of what that looks like, it's going to be this right here. So it'll be the QR codes, but it's infinite. It can infinitely repeat depending on how many records you have selected. To give you an idea how this works in the flow side, I'll go ahead and open up the flow and just show you. So I've got 2 flows, one for the multi and one for the single. I'll go ahead and go into the single name card flow here. And this is definitely the simpler of the 2 because it's really only 3 actions, and that's going to be the trigger from Power Automate, which is that button push, the create document, which is one of our actions through our connector. So all I'm doing is defining the template ID, the entity ID, which is pulling from Powerapps, so whichever contact or lead I have open, setting the file type, and then defining the printer. So that's all it takes. And then, of course, the response, which is just saying your name card is ready, check printer. In terms of the multi-card flow, it gets a little bit more complex, but still not complex in terms of most flows. So I'll go to the multi-name card flow here and hit edit. Same thing, we've got a trigger. In this case, it's listing the contacts. So I need to list all contacts related to that record that's open in the Power App. And then I'm initializing a variable. And then I want to apply to each, which is really just getting all of those contacts in the format that DocumentsCorePack can read. So you can see that. And then I'm creating an auto merge working item, which is in the background is the DocumentsCorePack request. And then I'm making sure that request is done. And then printing, respond to Powerapps. So it's really that simple. All of these functionalities can be leveraged in so many ways. It's that we really consider DocumentsCorePack to not be a vertical solution because we've seen it used in so many different areas from something as simple as name cards to complex reports as well as contracts, which I'll show a little bit of here shortly, to even like statements, email content as well. So you can set this up for email content. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the first use case I wanted to show around that Conference Signup App. Just to get you another look at that beautiful formatting there. But yeah, so I'll go to my next app, which is going to be for the field service or work orders. So in this case, I envisioned a field service tech needing to get an in-person signature on a work order agreement. So in that case, we'll open that up really quick, and I named it the Work Order app. So I won't create a new work order. I'll just go straight to an existing, and I'll select my work order here. And then same thing. So this is bringing back data from Dynamics, from the work order entity. You can also, of course, make some of this changeable. This is all Powerapps handled. But where DocumentsCorePack comes in, it's the button once again. So what this is doing, as soon as I click that, it's initiating an instant cloud flow. This time though, it's generating the document from the template, which I will show after it's done. Once it's generated, it's actually sending through Adobe Sign. So we do integrate with Adobe Sign. So it's easy to create Adobe Sign templates with a lot of dynamic content and formatting. And then it's also using DocumentsCorePack to generate an in-person link that we return back to the app. So as you can see here, it's returned this button, and the background of this button is an in-person signature link from Adobe that's pulled in from DocumentsCorePack. So I'll go ahead and hit sign with Adobe. And it looks like my thumbnail isn't loading. Go ahead and refresh that really quick. There it is. So yeah, so this is my template with all the data filled in. So you've got work order number, type, basic work order fields. But here you can see there's a dynamic table as well as a total amount, which you can set as a calculated field, or you can just bring in the total amount field. But if you wanted to calculate 2 tables totals, you can set that up through the DocumentsCorePack template designer. But yeah, and then we have our signature. So it's really easy to embed these signature fields as well as other Adobe Sign fields such as date, initials. You can really insert all of those. Another nice feature of using Adobe Sign with DocumentsCorePack, of course, is that Adobe Sign tracks back those agreements, in this case, back to the work order entity. So you can actually see that its status is signed or waiting on signature. But yeah, it's really a great combination of 3 things here, which is going to be Canvas, or 4 things: Canvas app, Power Automate, DocumentsCorePack to Adobe Sign. But yeah, to give you an idea of what this template looks like generally, and to show you how it can be changed, and how to insert a field, just a quick example. So this is that template that I use for Adobe Sign. You can see my signature fields down there. And those are inserted as simple as insert Adobe Sign item, and on the other screen it's showing signature, initials, date, email. But yeah, so say I wanted to just insert, I'll just insert a random field here to show you what this looks like. I'll just do from the work order, I will say I want address. I will do, let's see, this is going to be the GUID, but why not? So I'll do that and then hit Save Template. And as soon as I save, it'll ask me if I want to override the existing. Actually, I'll save, yeah, I'll go ahead and override the existing. And so when I'm saving this, it's saving back to Dynamics, so it can be used by the service as well as leveraged in Power Automate and Canvas apps. And so from there, we'll go back and I'll actually regenerate this really quick. So I will go back. Existing work order, I'll choose a new one in this case, and generate. All right, and you can see it's returned that link again, so I'll go ahead and hit Sign with Adobe Sign. And it looks like, yep, and there it is. So there's that field that I just inserted. It's bringing in the GUID, just to give you an idea of how easy it is to add, remove fields from these documents or from these templates using the DocumentsCorePack template designer. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my Canvas app use cases. Now I'm going to head over into the model-driven app for the Sales Hub. So I'll head to the Sales Hub. For this use case, what I was thinking of is a sales proposal, but I also want it to be approved. So I want this to, if it's over a certain amount, I want to send my proposal to a manager for approval. This is going to be through the opportunity entity, and this is again going to be leveraging some DocumentsCorePack kind of native functionality. So if I go to implement this opportunity, implementation of all MS-CRM add-ons products. So I'm going to use our standard create document button here from DocumentsCorePack. And that's going to show me a list of available one-click actions, which we have great videos as well as KB articles on how to create one of these actions. These are one-click actions are really predefined option sets for document generation. So in this case, it's going to be a multi-part document. So it's going to be taking multiple templates, merging into a single document, and then processing how I've defined. So I'll go and hit that. You can see that you can really simplify this and leave as much user control as you'd like. Since it's a multi-part document, I went ahead and made one of the documents or one of the templates standard. So that's going to be the cover page is always included. But I also want to include the proposal itself as well as the quotes all in a single document. So as soon as I hit next, it's going to be sending that document to be generated through the service, and it should. And I've also set up a preview step, which you can remove. So I want to preview my document here really quick. You can see it there. It's got the cover page, the proposal, which is mostly just lorem ipsum, and then my quote template with another one of those dynamic tables. Now, one thing about one-click actions, another feature that we've added is the ability to kick off flows or Power Automates. In this case, this one-click action actually kicks off an approval. So instead of sending it automatically, it checks. I'll hit finish, and it's actually initiating an instant cloud flow via HTTPS request. And what that's looking at is, I'll actually go to the flow to describe this. So if I go to my flows and the flow connected to that one-click action, and we're also passing several parameters along with the HTTP request, so you can grab those parameters in the flow itself. See if I can get this to load a little quicker. All right, and as you can see here, so it's the trigger, which is initiated via the one-click action. Now it's getting that opportunities details. It's creating an email message. It's creating email content, which can also be, which in this case is also a DocumentsCorePack template. So you can set that as well as the subject dynamically through DocumentsCorePack. It's adding the email content to the email message itself and attaching the proposal, which that multi-part document, and it's actually bringing that in from the HTTP request. It's attaching that to the email. Now is the approval flow. So it's actually starting and waiting for an approval. The approval in this case is the opportunity amount greater than 10,000? If so, send for approval. So I'll go over here, and as you can see, there is my proposal. So approval needed. As the manager, I can check that proposal really quick. All right, yeah, this all looks good. So I'll go ahead and approve it here. No comments. And now we'll go back to Power Automate, and it should now, and as you can see, it's now running. It's running through. So now it's using another DocumentsCorePack flow action to actually send that email. So it's now sending that Dataverse email record, and I should receive it here in my inbox shortly. And there it is. So official approval. So as you can see, it's attached multiple templates into one as the proposal, which is all dynamic. It has set the email content dynamically, which is another template, and also set the subject dynamically. Yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the demo portion of this session. A few other items I'd like to mention, just helpful resources. I'll go ahead and switch to my slideshow here. So all of our products, including DocumentsCorePack, include a free 14-day trial, which can be started via AppSource or our website. And our website's going to be www.mscrm-addons.com. In terms of support info, with that 14-day trial, support is included. And support can be reached via phone, email, or chat. And we also have a great knowledge base as well as webinars and short video series on how-tos and how to install kind of use cases similar, basically short form sessions. And then as well as our pricing. So our pricing is all available on our website as well. But yeah, now we'll switch over to the Q&A. So thank you for joining my session.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining the session. And Bailey, I got to start off by saying I thought you did a really great job. You took some really good common scenarios that I think people can relate to. You made them look fairly simple and easy to step through, while still touching upon the technical backbone of it that really shows the power of DocumentsCorePack tied in with Power Automate. So I really did like how the examples kind of touched upon scenarios people would be familiar with, while still making it look easy, while still getting people thinking with the power of Power Automate, how much further they could extend these kind of examples.
Yeah, it's funny, especially with Power Automate and Powerapps. It's opened a good Pandora's box of what it's now capable of. I mean, everything in the Dataverse and with Microsoft, what you can now automate and really add logic to. It's really not can it do it, it's how and how quickly. But yeah, I think that generally all the scenarios I built in, I'd say 2 days, and that was while doing my other jobs, my other responsibilities here. So, not too tough to set up. And the easiest part, at least for me, was the DocumentsCorePack portions of the flows themselves.
And I do have to share with the others on the call, he does mention how he had to put that together in 2 days along with his other job task and another event that just happened over the weekend. Bailey, congratulations. Bailey got married on Saturday. And, this is his first day back after that long weekend. And man, we're glad to have you back. And congratulations so much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, what a honeymoon. No, we're gonna do a delayed. My wife is a teacher, so we took a little bit of time off. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. But yeah, should we get into some questions and kind of walk through some of these questions in the chat, just in case anyone wasn't reading the chat? I think the first is going to be, does it support PowerPoint? And I mean, Pat, you can take these answers, or we can switch
Oh
off.
yeah, our word-based template designer, the different formats it can save it in. PowerPoint is not one of them. There's considerable difference in formatting stuff going from Word to a PowerPoint deck. So it's not something that we automatically generate PowerPoint from, the data in CRM. So that is a limitation.
And along with that, the file type or output types that we do support are just kind of a high level doc, docx, PDF, HTML, which includes email content. So you can, and that's a heavy use case on our side, including internally for our company, is going to be email notifications for things like case assignments, opportunity assignments. You can really customize those through DocumentsCorePack. But we also support text, XPS, PNG and JPEGs, as well as BMP and EPUBs as that output type that we support, output types.
All right. And we did have questions about, our ability to work with F&O.
Oh yeah, and so we don't support F&O not being on the Dataverse. We don't currently support any of the types outside of the Dataverse. But if you are doing a dual write to the Dataverse and you're storing that data in fields in the Dataverse, then yeah, we can grab it. Really, our tool, if the data is there, if it's stored in Dynamics or a Dataverse instance, we can generally access it, because we have one thing I always mention is we have no limit of really link entities that we can go through. So if you want to go from, or now I guess it's tables and rows, not entities. But if you want to go from one table to another table and then down into those rows, it's really easy to do through our. And if I could share a screen, I'd show our template designer just how easy it's. I'd even consider it easier than, say, setting up an advanced finds. But it's in the background, it's using the same XML filters and sorting queries.
And I know in your presentation you showed like the integration, between DocumentsCorePack. Then it went to working with Power Automate, and then we also bounced over to some of our e-signature capabilities. I know there has been a lot of interest in e-signature. We showed Adobe Sign in our example. Were there other, I just wanted you to speak for a second to the other e-signature providers.
Yeah, absolutely. So we of course support Adobe Sign. I just use that because it's what I'm most familiar with at this point. But we also, with very similar features, they all have very similar features. It's really depending on your use case and of course what pricing works out best for you. But we also support AssureSign and DocuSign. So really the big three, and the connection and kind of availability, at least through our tool, is going to be very similar through them all. It's really just up to end customers to decide. Some people start out with DocuSign, they want to stick with it, so they continue to use DocuSign. It's really dependent on each use case and each customer.
And some people ask about the pricing for it and how that works. The way we really set up with the reason why each of those e-signature providers partnered with us is because they know we do a good job of taking data buried in CRM and pulling it into a professional looking good document. At that point, we push it to the e-signature provider, who then does what they're best at. They handle the whole e-signature process. So things like being able to continue to sign things on your mobile device, all the other features and functionality that they take the documents that you would have manually uploaded without a solution like ours, that then kicks in and continues through that part of the process. Do we charge extra for our e-signature capabilities? No, we do not. The integration piece is included in our base product, but you do need a e-signature subscription to work with. And I did see a question about a specific type of, I think, Adobe Sign subscription. I'll have to get the answer for that, for what level specifically you need.
And one thing I recommend there always is to reach out, because we're not a reseller of Adobe Sign, AssureSign, or DocuSign. I always recommend to reach out to your account manager there, or if you have a contact there, because they can give you much. If not, we'll just be kind of the mouthpiece for them. We'll reach out to our own internal, but we don't sell any licenses for Adobe Sign, AssureSign, or DocuSign. So I do always recommend reaching out as well.
And that's probably one of the biggest areas I've seen take off. E-signature can be used in so many different ways to really expedite, particularly the sales process. We've had examples of people that have significantly reduced their overall sales cycle by being able to get documents generated and signed by all members, and then more quickly move to receiving the money in from those signed contracts. So it really has helped some companies really dramatically reduce the overall sales cycle time and increase revenues by getting that money in quicker.
And I think that kind of brings up another good question that we kind of set up questions to ask ourselves as well. It's good to keep yourself, kind of keeps yourself on your toes. One of those would be, common use cases or favorite use cases. And given that contracts is one of those, I just want to mention that it's DocumentsCorePack. We consider it non-vertical. I mean, the use cases have spanned from everything from, like I showed, note cards to contracts. And of course, being in sales, I mostly think, quotes, opportunities. How can I speed up this process? How can I, reach out to more people at once? So, we even think about batch follow-ups on opportunities, how quickly you can do that, or batch kind of targeted marketing. But do you have any use cases that you'd like to share, or anything that, kind of one of your favorites, I guess, in terms of what you see? I mean, you do a lot on the contract side, so I know that e-signature is a big part of that.
Well, I think one of the favorite parts of our jobs, Bailey, is that we're always working with different customers from all over the world. And although you would think document generation, after you've done it for a week or two, you've heard most of the scenarios, I say every week we get something a little bit new. And it's kind of neat. Our company's been doing this for 18 years now. So we have seen a lot of different scenarios, and we still see new little twists and things. And I like to think that me and Bailey are more like consultative sales consultants, because we want to help you solve those problems when they do come up. We really do enjoy working with you to hear what kind of problems and pain points you have, and then working with you to come up with a solution with the tools we have available. So as far as, favorite use cases, man, for me, it's every new one that I haven't heard before and that we get to puzzle through and figure out. Our support team, having had the solution for 18 years, I certainly don't know all the answers, but boy, have I got a strong team when I do get stumped. So when you do come up with an interesting use case, something a little bit different, don't struggle. We provide free support during our trial period, and that includes both our support team as well as Bailey and I, really working with you to understand what the underlying problem is and coming up with a solution that works for you.
And I know we're running a little low on time. I think we've got 3 minutes left, but that kind of leads into a great area, which is, where to find things on our website, whether it's reaching out to us. So the first thing I'd like to mention is our free trial, which I know I mentioned in the video. That can be downloaded and set up via AppSource or our website. And we've got some great knowledge base articles on that on our website as well. And that's going to be valid for 14 days. And as Pat mentioned, support is included. And then other items like professional services. This is something we can offer, whether that's us building your templates for you, or just being someone who's on the line with you, helping you build the templates, and kind of teaching along the way. So we do training as well as help with setup. So everything like that, we're happy to cover as paid professional services. A few other items. Just in terms of licensing, everything I showed in that video is included in a subscription or license. The only thing that we're not paying for is going to be the e-signature provider out of my example. So those Powerapps and Power Automate connectors, that's all included with the license. Same thing with the template design license, same thing with the service, all included in a subscription. And our pricing is publicly available on our website. But you can also reach out directly to myself or Patrick, or even our office email. And we'd be happy to provide a quote or, specified live demo. It's kind of fun work. Like Patrick said, I think my favorite thing is to be a little stumped and then learn something new. But we worked through quite a bit of these scenarios. But yeah, looks like we're getting the 1 minute warning. So last but not least, thank you to everyone at DynamicsCon, and thank you for putting this on. It's been a great show. This time and back in March, it was just a great time. And Pat, if there's anything you'd like to throw in there last second, I think we're in our last 30 seconds.
I guess we're all good. Great job, Bailey.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks, y'all.